Welcome back to Houzz TV Live. I'm Rick Spence, and with me today is Nate Fischer with Nate Fischer Interiors down in beautiful Laguna Beach, California. Nate's won awards for service and design the last 7 years. His images have been saved over 100,000 times on Houzz, and his kitchen he's going to show us is one of the top 10 kitchens on Houzz for 2020. So thanks for joining us, Nate. So let's hop in. It's a really beautiful, light, airy space, nice combination of wood and some lighter materials. What were the key elements of this kitchen?
So this kitchen was a great fun project for me. I was able to, I feel, pull all the elements that I work with that I'm drawn to. Warmer tones, cooler tones, natural finishes, some artificial finishes. And so I think for me, my kitchen was kind of the embodiment of everything that I love.
It's a great space. And I know you had a little bit of a challenge. It's a little bit narrow of a space that you were doing. So you went with some smaller elements in terms of like the island, a little bit smaller. So what were some of the trade-offs you had to make in the space?
Yes. So definitely getting the island in was something we didn't initially have that I definitely wanted. And my kitchen was kind of right on the minimum of width. It's about 13 feet wide. And that's what I like to say is kind of the minimum width needed to get an island in. You know, the island's just a little over 2 feet wide. My walkways are a little tight, but they're doable. So we did, I had to make some sacrifices on space to fit that island in, but it fits and it looks great and it was definitely worth it.
Now tell me about the wood that you used for the cabinets. It's a very light color, very nice, kind of a timeless color to it. What did you do here? And tell me about sort of the wood and the poles.
Yes. So I know I wanted my kitchen to be a combination of wood finishes and some white finishes. And I decided to use wood on all the cabinetry. The wood is specifically oak. White oak is the most popular finish of oak to use versus red oak. Kind of that natural, somewhat weathered, brushed. It's really versatile. You can take it in a warmer color direction. You can also take it in a cooler color direction. So oak is specifically what I used.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And how did you complement that with the other color choices? You went with a much darker countertop adjacent to all the cabinets. And then for the island, the marble. Tell me about those choices and why you chose those materials.
Yes, but when you're using all wood for your cabinetry, you don't want the room to feel too warm, too earthy. You still want some brightness and crispness to that. So on the island, which is in the center of the kitchen, the focal point, I wanted something that was a little cooler and brighter. So I went with the white and gray marble. On the walls, I kept a bright white. The kitchen hood, I went whiter, and the marble on the backsplash was also white. So this kitchen was really about, we had a lot of warm tones on the wood. And so offsetting that with cooler tones on the flooring, on the countertops, and on the tile.
And you had a little bit of open shelving there. Just what was the reasoning there? So you just wanted a little something, quick access?
Yeah,
was it for aesthetics or just function?
The easy thing to do on a kitchen design is just load all the wall space up with upper cabinets. And I always love to find a location or two to have some negative space, some open space, so the kitchen doesn't feel too utilitarian. And just visually to open things up a little bit. And floating shelves, they look good, and I think they're also really practical for just your daily use cups or bowls, easy to grab and easy to put back when you're done. And so I'm a big fan of a few open shelves in every kitchen.
Absolutely. Love that. That's great. Tell me about the backsplash. I love how you took the backsplash all the way up. You didn't stop. It's beautiful.
Yeah, the backsplash, I wanted to keep it really simple, but unique and distinctive. So just to make it a little different, I went with a square pattern, and I did it in the brick offset installation pattern. I also did no grout line. It looks like there's grout, but I had the tile installed touching, and then I still went over the top of that with a little bit of a darker grout. So I didn't want any grout spacing, but I did want to see a darker kind of contrast between each tile so that you could see that pattern a little better. And funny enough, that backsplash tile was a very low price point marble because there's a lot of variation in each piece. Typically, if you're buying a stone, a premium stone, each piece is going to be very consistent in the coloring. And this was rock bottom pricing because the coloring was all over. Some pieces are gray, some are warm, some have veining, some don't. But I love that variation of each piece is a little different. Some are bright white, some are gray, some are beige. And that's actually what gave the backsplash, in my opinion, such a great natural look, was having that variation that you could say some would view as undesirable is, I think, what makes it perfect.
I think so too. I think it's really beautiful. Are you doing more work on the soapstone or on the marble, and how are they both holding up, and what's your maintenance like?
Yeah, any natural stone has its pros and its cons. Marble's always durable, but it does etch. And I like to say that's just deal with it. Just live with it. Right when the kitchen was done, we have a lemon tree. My kids wanted to make lemonade, and that was the beginning of the end, but that's just part of it. Soapstone is actually quite durable. It doesn't etch. If you do scratch it, you can actually buff it out. But soapstone, when water dries on it, it can leave water spots if you don't keep it oiled. So every couple months, you just need to put some mineral oil on it, let it sit a few hours, wipe it off, and then that kind of helps seal and protect the stone so that stains are a little bit easier to get rid of.
Really cool feature in the soapstone. You sort of integrated a drain board. Tell me about that, how you did that, and how difficult that is to do.
Yes. So I love the idea. I eat a lot of fresh vegetables, fruit. I'm big into just rinsing a bowl if you have some fruit in it and setting it on the countertop versus putting it in the dishwasher. So I believe it was 5 little grooves, just cut right in the countertop so that you can set your rinsed fruit, you can set any dishes there, and you have somewhere for that water to go instead of puddling on the countertop. It was an extra few $100 in fabrication cost to have done, and it was quite easy.
Yeah, that's a really cool feature. Tell me what you did to the ceiling there where your recessed lights are, where the ceiling goes up.
Yeah, the old kitchen space just had a flat 9-foot ceiling. There was a little volume in. So I pulled the old ceiling out. There is kind of an odd angle where the ceiling comes down and then flattens out, which was something I didn't love, but I went with it anyway just to open that space up. I wanted to go with a little bit of a cooler wood finish that didn't match the cabinetry. I didn't want the whole kitchen to be this sea of warm oak. So I kind of did a contrast stain on that paneling on the ceiling just to mix the wood finish up a little bit.
You really do notice it. When you see it, you're like, what is that? It's really cool. And did people comment about, what are the things, when people come into your kitchen, they go, what's the first thing they comment on when they come in there?
The ceiling is a big part of it. It's I went with kind of a specific look on that stain. It doesn't look painted. It doesn't look stained. It almost has a little bit of like an antique metallic quality to it. Mm-hmm. And so I really wanted just a unique wood finish on that ceiling. Anytime you have a vaulted ceiling that comes down, that's not just flat, any home with a vaulted ceiling, I really like to emphasize that vaulted ceiling because that's what you're going to see when you walk into the room. So it's really important to treat a vaulted ceiling properly with something unique and interesting.
Now you get a lot of natural light in there, beautiful windows, nice little bump out there. What else did you do to complement the light in the interior? I see the one pendant. What else is in there, and what was your strategy around the lighting?
Yeah, the kitchen, like you said, has a lot of natural lighting. I'm a big believer, and it's better to have too much lighting than not enough. So in any project, I always, if I'm ever deciding between a number of light fixtures, I always like to go on the higher side. And I also love to add accent lighting wherever possible. So in addition to the recessed lights, I have a little pendant light over the sink. A, it looks great. B, it gives you lighting where you need it. And then C, of course, have that unique kind of vintage pendant light. An antique piece that I found online, and it was actually from Russia. It's an antique factory pendant light.
Attractive for a factory light.
I call it honeydew, that color. I love
there
that
you go.
Honeydew color that's, a little green, a little blue, a little lime. It's just a nice, fresh, kind of citrus, organic looking color that really fit well into the space.
Now, what about the flooring? What is the flooring there?
Yes, the flooring's tile. Again, with the wood cabinets, to me, it was important to bring in some gray elements, and I wanted all the materials to feel natural and a little more on the modern side. So it's not an actual concrete, but it's a large format, 4-foot by 4-foot tile that has basically just kind of a polished concrete look to it, natural and harmonious with everything else.
Thanks for taking the time, Nate. It's an absolutely beautiful space. Congratulations on that. I think maybe you're going to hit number 1. I don't know. We have no say. Right. We have no say in the voting, but you're in the top 10. We'll see how 2020 ends for you, but it looks like you're on a roll right now. And take care. We'll stay in touch.
Awesome. All right. Have a good one.
Okay, see you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.